If you're watching this story, I promise stay till the end. Because what this man did next, after hearing those words, "Don't hurt me, I can't walk," will change the way you see humanity forever. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us that kindness still exists, even in the darkest corners of the world. It all began on a rainy night outside a luxury corporate building in New York. The city lights shimmered on the wet pavement as people hurried with umbrellas, their faces buried in phones, minds lost in the rush of success. Among them was Ethan, a single dad in his mid-30s, working 2 jobs to provide for his little daughter, Lila. He had just finished a night shift as a delivery driver when he noticed something strange near an alley beside the CEO parking zone, a woman's voice trembling in fear. "Please, don't hurt me. I can't walk," the voice cried. Ethan froze. His first instinct was to walk away. He had a daughter waiting at home, and this city wasn't kind to those who got involved in trouble that wasn't theirs. But something inside him refused to ignore that voice. He took a cautious step forward, peering into the alley. There, under the flickering light of a broken street lamp, sat a woman in a wheelchair, her hair soaked, her designer coat ripped at the shoulder. 3 young men surrounded her, their laughter sharp and cruel. Ethan's pulse quickened. He didn't know who she was, but he could see fear in her eyes. Without thinking, he shouted, "Hey! Leave her alone." The men turned, sneering. They mocked him, "What's a broke delivery guy gonna do?" But Ethan didn't back down. He wasn't rich, wasn't strong, but he was a father. And fathers protect. Within moments, the confrontation turned physical. Ethan fought with every ounce of strength he had, taking blows meant for someone else. Finally, one of the men ran off, the others following, spitting curses into the rain. Ethan stood there, chest heaving, lip bleeding, but the woman was safe. She looked up at him with wide eyes, tears mixing with raindrops. I'm Claire," she stammered. "Claire Bennett." The name meant nothing to Ethan, but to the city, it meant everything. Claire Bennett, the youngest CEO in the finance world, the woman who built a billion-dollar empire from scratch before a tragic accident 2 years ago left her unable to walk. He didn't know any of that then. All he saw was a woman in pain. He bent down and gently covered her with his jacket. "You're safe now," he said softly. "Let's get you out of the rain." He took her to his small apartment because her wheelchair was damaged and her phone was broken. Lila woke up to the sound of the door creaking and stared at the soaked stranger her dad was helping. "Daddy, who's that lady?" she whispered. "Someone who needs our help, sweetheart," Ethan replied. That night, Claire, who had never stepped inside a place so humble, felt something she hadn't in years: peace. Ethan didn't treat her like a CEO. He didn't ask about her company or her wealth. He simply made her tea, fixed her chair, and spoke to her like a person. The next morning, Claire learned more about Ethan's life. His wife had passed away when Lila was just a baby. Since then, he had been both mother and father, working endless hours to afford rent, food, and his daughter's school. Yet, despite everything, there was light in their home. Laughter. Warmth. Something money couldn't buy. As days passed, their paths intertwined. Claire insisted on thanking him properly, but Ethan refused. "You don't owe me anything," he said. But she couldn't let it go. She invited him and Lila to her office once she recovered, and when they arrived, Ethan was stunned. Cameras flashed, employees whispered. Claire Bennett, the woman he had saved, introduced him as the bravest man she's ever met. But not everyone was pleased. Her board members disapproved of her newfound closeness with a commoner. They warned her that associating with someone like Ethan could ruin her image. Claire didn't care. She had seen more humanity in that man's tiny apartment than she ever had in all her boardrooms combined. Then came the twist. One of the men who attacked Claire turned out to be a former employee of her company, seeking revenge after being fired unfairly by one of her executives. The incident forced Claire to look at her own empire, the people running it, the policy she had ignored while trapped in grief and isolation. She realized how far she had drifted from compassion. With Ethan's encouragement, she began rebuilding not just her company, but herself. She started new initiatives to help disabled employees and struggling single parents. Ethan became a consultant for one of those programs, helping others like him find dignity through honest work. Months later, Claire and Ethan found themselves on the same rooftop where it all began, looking out at the city lights. "You know," Claire said, smiling softly, "when you found me that night, I thought I was broken. But you showed me something no therapy or success ever could, that strength isn't about walking, it's about standing up for what's right." Ethan looked at her and replied, "And you showed me that kindness isn't weakness, it's power." Lila ran to them, laughing, holding 2 paper cups of cocoa. They stood together, 3 people from different worlds, bound by one simple truth: sometimes, the greatest rescues happen when 2 broken souls help each other heal. And as the camera zooms out on their silhouettes against the glittering skyline, the narrator's voice echoes, "If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. Because somewhere out there, kindness is waiting to be found, and maybe, it starts with you."